Black people in America have higher rates of high blood pressure. About 55 to 58% of us have it. About 45 to 48% of white Americans have high blood pressure. Now, about 46% of Africans in Africa have high blood pressure, similar to white Americans. So there's something about Black people living in America that raises our blood pressure at higher rates than white people and Africans. It's much easier to say Black people are different than white people and all Black people are the same in terms of how our bodies handle salt and water than to deal with the truth. Our bodies are not all the same, and we aren't so different than white people. Black Americans deal with a unique system-wide chronic stress that we can't escape, differences in our healthcare access and delivery, passed down ideas and PTSD stemming from our past history of being mistreated by healthcare providers, both while we were alive and after we died, with our bodies being mishandled. In general, there has been a reluctance to make race-based healthcare guidelines in America, except when it comes to blood pressure. Based on a single study that all had, race-based guidelines for treating blood pressure were established. So Black people get slapped on a diuretic or water pill and a calcium channel blocker, reflexively. The thinking is that at a population level, Black people tend to have low renin levels, which means our blood pressure is caused by salt and water retention, which can be helped with a water pill. The problem is, not all Black people have low renin. In fact, there is a lot of heterogeneity in our renin levels. A common side effect of a water pill for Black men is erectile dysfunction. So Black men get to pick between ED and a stroke. And sadly, a lot of y'all are picking rolling the dice on a stroke. So to my white brothers, can you imagine if your doctor automatically slapped you and every person that looks like you on a water pill for your blood pressure? I'd be willing to bet a lot of y'all would be rolling the dice on a stroke too. But I also know y'all would likely be able to force Big Pharma to come up with a better solution, because while penis problems won't affect the number of years you have left, it most definitely will affect the quality in those years. Now contrast this to the first line blood pressure treatment for white people, which typically is ACE inhibitors or angiotensin receptor blockers, which I'll call ARBs. Now ARBs have the unique ability to not only lower blood pressure, but also to protect the kidneys. This is important because Black people have 3 to 4 times higher rates of kidney failure than white people, for disproportionately higher rates of dialysis starts, and we tend to be diagnosed at a much more advanced stage. Now, about 14% of Black people have what's considered a high-risk genotype called the APOL1, which came from Africa. About 10,000 years ago in Africa, there was a selective suite for those genes to protect us from a fatal parasite infection carried by the tsetse fly, which caused sleeping sickness. Now, having 1 copy of this gene is protective against this infection, but 2 copies is strongly associated with kidney disease. About 30 to 40% of Black people in America have 1 of these genes, which works out to be about 5 to 6 million Black people in America. So Black people need personalized treatment for our blood pressure. We need to know if we even have low levels before we are reflexively slapped on a water pill, and not the more kidney protective ARBs that white people are prescribed. We need to tackle healthcare disparities one by one, and as I'm seeing, a lot of disparities are created by the people in charge setting these guidelines, such as blood pressure treatment, vitamin D policy, sunscreen policy, which are all at some level negatively impacting Black people. So at an individual level, doctors are just following marching orders set out by those in charge that tend to hyper-focus on what's best for white people, and they don't think about how these guidelines negatively impact those of us that are not white. We should be vitamin D sufficient from the womb to the tomb.